Does a moth jump into a fire even though it knows it will burn to death? Yes, some types of moths, including certain species of moths, are known to exhibit the behavior of flying into flames or lights even though they appear to know it's dangerous. Some potential explanations for this behavior, often referred to as flame-seeking moths or light-attracted moths, include misinterpretation of light sources. Moths typically navigate using celestial cues like starlight or moonlight. Strong artificial light sources can confuse them, causing moths to misinterpret the light and fly towards it. Sexual attraction. Some moths may be attracted to artificial lights as they mistake them for the light emitted by potential mates. The light from a flame or artificial light may resemble the pheromone-induced signals used by female moths to attract males. Natural selection. While some moths exhibit this behavior, it's important to note that not all moths are attracted to lights. Over time, moths that are consistently drawn to lights may experience a survival disadvantage, as they can be more susceptible to predation or other dangers. The exact reasons and mechanisms behind why some moths are attracted to light sources are still areas of ongoing research, and it may vary among moth species. Do humans release dopamine when they experience sexual pleasure? Yes, humans release dopamine when they experience sexual pleasure. Dopamine is a major neurotransmitter in the brain that is associated with pleasure, reward, and motivation. Dopamine release in relation to sexual activity occurs in the following ways. Activation of the reward system. When humans experience sexual pleasure, the reward system in the brain is activated. This system uses chemicals, including dopamine, to communicate pleasure, resulting in a feeling of pleasure. Dopamine release. When humans experience sexual pleasure, dopamine levels rise. This dopamine release can increase feelings of pleasure, satisfaction, and happiness, and provide motivation for sexual activity. Learning and memory. Dopamine also plays a role in learning and memory related to sexual experiences. Dopamine release can help humans remember sexually rewarding experiences and motivate them to seek out more pleasure. Sexual pleasure is the result of a complex physiological and psychological process, and dopamine plays an important role in this process. Dopamine is also associated with a variety of other experiences and activities, and contributes to regulating a variety of aspects related to our motivation, reward system, and pleasure. Additional information. Dopamine is not the only neurotransmitter involved in sexual pleasure. Other neurotransmitters, such as oxytocin, norepinephrine, and endorphins, also play a role. Oxytocin is a hormone that is released during sexual activity and bonding, and is associated with feelings of love and attachment. Norepinephrine is a hormone that is released during arousal and orgasm, and is associated with feelings of excitement and arousal. Endorphins are hormones that are released during physical activity and pain, and are associated with feelings of euphoria and pain relief. The combination of dopamine and other neurotransmitters is responsible for the complex and pleasurable experience of sexual activity. What hormones are involved in the feeling of emptiness after sexual pleasure? The hormones that are involved in the feeling of emptiness or sexual regret after sexual pleasure are primarily serotonin and dopamine. Serotonin is an important hormone that is involved in mood regulation. Serotonin levels can decrease after sexual activity, which can lead to feelings of emptiness, regret, or sadness. This is sometimes referred to as postcoital dysphoria. Dopamine contributes to the pleasure and reward associated with sexual activity. However, some people may experience emptiness after sexual activity when dopamine levels drop rapidly. This is sometimes described as a kind of dopamine crash. Emptiness can manifest in different ways depending on the individual's psychological state, experiences, and physical condition. It can be affected by hormones, as well as emotions, psychological state, and social factors. People who experience these feelings can find ways to manage and cope with them in a variety of ways, and they may also seek professional help if necessary. Additional information. Other hormones, such as oxytocin, norepinephrine, and endorphins, may also play a role in the feeling of emptiness after sexual pleasure. Oxytocin is a hormone that is released during sexual activity and bonding, and is associated with feelings of love and attachment. Norepinephrine is a hormone that is released during arousal and orgasm, and is associated with feelings of excitement and arousal. Endorphins are hormones that are released during physical activity and pain, and are associated with feelings of euphoria and pain relief. The combination of hormones and other factors is responsible for the complex and sometimes negative experience of emptiness after sexual pleasure.